All right, well, this is it. We're speeding on both sides.
Look at us.
Look at us.
Not me.
Look at us, not me.
You just hit the highlights. Welcome to Roden Tomatoes. I'm Ben Roden.
I'm Brady Tomatoes.
This is a show where we talk about movies,
magic, and Muppets. So yeah, two white dudes talking about movies.
Groundbreaking.
Yeah.
It's groundbreaking.
It's an idea
material.
that we thought of.
We looked kind of at the marketplace and we thought, there's a niche here.
Yeah.
Two bearded white men.
Yep.
Middle class, Protestant. These are some voices that need to be heard.
That have not had a platform for their voices to be heard until today.
This is our day in the hot sun.
Yeah, this is
finally.
It. We both saw Nosferatu last night. You saw it for the second time.
I saw it for time number 2.
And that was my first impression.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit, got some little details out there we can rehash, but then I also thought it'd be fun to just kind of talk about Nosferatu, and then and if we wanted to jump into Muppet stuff, we could do that.
I'm always down to jump into Muppet stuff. I mean, I told my wife when I met, like, be prepared for Muppet stuff. Like, that's the one thing you need to know about me. Muppet stuff is always on the table.
Yeah.
Why don't you go first? Because you saw it fresh. I've had more time to kind of cogitate.
To mull it over.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that one of the things that this will probably, you know how like there's that argument of if Die Hard is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Sure.
Right. There's that debate.
Yeah.
I do feel that Nosferatu has the potential for that because doesn't it happen around Christmas time?
They say Christmas tide.
Christmas tide.
And there's even a Christmas tree.
There's a Christmas tree, and the two kids when they're going to bed, they have Christmas tree, Christmas tree, like the.
Although I will say O Tannenbaum.
Tannenbaum.
As it is
Germany.
set in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's. When I saw the Christmas tree, I was like, "There's gonna be discourse about this."
Yes, because people love that.
Yeah,
it's like it is so far from the birth of Jesus, like the storyline wise, but it takes place at Christmas time. So
and, I mean, Jesus is in the movie, right?
Oh, that is true.
The nuns are definitely the force of good.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess you could argue that Nosferatu does visit children in the night.
True.
On Christmas Eve.
Delivering pretty awful gifts, but visiting nonetheless.
Yeah. So anyway, that was like one thought that I had.
It's every edgelord is gonna add it to the list of this is a Christmas movie. It's gonna be Die Hard and Nosferatu are gonna be the top 2.
Yeah. So anyways, as far as like first impressions go, I feel like Nosferatu was it was done by someone that enjoys making movies. I think that's very apparent.
For sure.
There's a lot of movies in the Hollywood landscape now that you're like, this is totally just a cash grab. Like, insert any Disney live action type thing. But I feel like Nosferatu is like someone's passion project, almost like a Dune type thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that was very apparent. I don't know if I'd ever I don't know if I'd ever be in the position where you are. You're like, I want to see that again.
Yeah.
Not because it was so disturbing for me. It's just like I went through the experience. I know what it's about now.
Yeah.
There's always room to see and appreciate more things like sound design and stuff like that. But I feel like overall, I was like, I got the feeling.
You got what you wanted out of it.
I got what I wanted out of it.
Do you rewatch movies a lot?
I do. If there are things that, and I think it does take a while sometimes for me to kind of get to a place of maybe where I'd like to get a refresh on it.
Yeah.
So recently I rewatched Hook with my kids. And that was a really unique experience because the last time I saw Hook, I was a kid. And now as a father, Hook was a very different experience.
For sure.
So I do think that Nosferatu actually feels like it has a potential for that as well, because as a father, the most disturbing part of that movie was when he drops the two girls, like the two 5 and 3-year-old type thing on the ground.
After he sucked them dry like Capri Sun.
Yeah,
just lets them fall to the floor.
Yeah, that the Foley work on whoever was unfortunate enough to be like, I'm gonna drop a melon on a hardwood floor. That was like one of the more disturbing parts of the film.
Yeah.
And I do think, like, man, if this movie had come out like 6 years ago, it would have been way more terrifying because I still had a belief in like the occult, like the heaven versus hell type thing. Like, ooh, there's like evil spiritual. Where now I've kind of come away from that. Where I was like, oh, it's just a fun little make believe vampire story type thing.
Yeah, that is true. I hadn't thought about that. Like, depending on how religious you are or how in tune you feel with a spiritual world,
right?
That can definitely like dampen or kind of heighten the impact. I feel that way a lot about like possession movies.
Yeah,
like they're just not scary to me, and I know a lot of people in my family that are like, that's the worst type.
Yeah, because it makes you feel
really
evil.
It really feels threatening.
Yeah,
that's super interesting.
Because I mean, do you look at possession movies now and just be like, oh, that's probably just a mental illness. That's probably like a manic episode, like of like bipolar 2 or something like that.
Or I feel like it's hard for me to not compare it to like real life cases where I'm like, oh, don't call The Exorcist. That's actually the worst thing you can do. Someone's gonna end up in the hospital. Yeah. But what I like, and I think this kind of speaks to your point about Robert Eggers like really having passion. All of his movies have the same element where it feels like he really dives into the belief of the characters. He, like, you haven't seen The Witch?
I haven't. It's on my list.
So something this does that I think is similar in The Witch is it feels like the movie is made for the characters or made in the mindset of the characters. Meaning, like in The Witch, the Vavitch, if you will.
Do we know why they named it that way? The Vavitch?
I think
is it just graphic design?
I think it's part of the same thing. It's supposed to feel like a Puritan made the movie.
Interesting.
And so I think it's like an old English, maybe not old English, but older style English, how it might have been written.
So, I mean, if you look it up on IMDb or Letterboxd, do you have to type 2 V's?
I don't know. I've seen it. People write it that way, but I'm like, is this just a joke that we're all in on, or is that the movie? I think it's just.
I mean, this is homework for after this. I'm definitely going to see if I can find it, but yeah. Anyways, you're saying that.
Anyway, no.
Catered
so
to
the comment that a lot of people made, and that I'm sure I made after the Witch is like, this feels like a movie made for Puritans. It feels like it's scary because it's naturally scary, but it's like almost designed to scare Puritans. It's like working in the cultural context where it's set.
Right.
Like it doesn't feel like this is a modern take on this story. It feels like, oh, this is like a campfire story that this dad would have told to his Puritan kids to keep them on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is the same way. It feels very rooted in like, this is the belief about vampires. It feels almost separate from the cultural development of what a vampire is.
Right.
Because like we've seen Bela Lugosi, we've seen Twilight. It feels like, no, we're going to go back to what these like East European villagers actually thought about what a vampire is, which is
like real terror. Like
which is just this awful rotting thing that's going to just suck blood. I love that he sucks blood out of their chest too.
Oh yeah.
That it's not the 2 little neat puncture marks. It's like, no, he's just going to slurp straight from the heart.
Yeah.
It feels very, very...
It's kind of more carnal.
Authentic, very carnal. That's a good word for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And I think that for Robert Eggers, like because if you make something, oh, this is for Puritans, I don't know many Puritans.
I don't know
right
any.
Now. Right. Maybe in Pennsylvania somewhere,
Yeah.
it's like tucked away, like pretending in some M. Night Shyamalan-esque type thing. But
yeah.
So that's like an uphill battle to like make a movie where maybe the people that are watching aren't Puritans, but you are responsible for creating the atmosphere where you, as an audience member, can put yourself in the shoes of a Puritan.
Yeah,
which I think is really cool because I think Nosferatu did a really good job at that. Like where I'm not like a religious person, but it still put me in places where it's like, oh, but these people, he's amongst like the husband, Thomas. He's put in amongst like. The gypsies that are like more pagan, and then like the Orthodox Christians, and you're kind of seeing things from both of their perspectives, and so I do think that's a really impressive feat to have like a niche market essentially that you're trying to scare, and you have to basically allow people to put themselves in that place, which I think they do a great job with cinematography and writing and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, he's like very dedicated to the setting. One of the things that really sort of not bothered me, but I thought was kind of funny the first time is it seems like everything takes forever. Like,
that's true.
And I think it's intentional because it's like we can't send text messages to each other. So for example, whenever they come up with a plan, it's like, I'm going to go back to my quarters. We'll meet tonight. I'm like, guys, just go right now. But it's like, no, he has to travel to where his source of information is. Even like just the reality of traveling on foot or by carriage across a city. It's like, oh, like, you know what needs to happen, but physically we can't get there. I think of like the climax of the movie of they realize that, spoiler, Nosferatu is not in his casket. Herr Knock is.
Yeah.
And they know, okay, essentially Willem Dafoe and Ellen have duped us.
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, we just have to run back across town, and it's going to take all night, and there's nothing we can do about it.
It's like impossible.
Yeah. So part of what makes it scary is like the helplessness, the lack of technology, and like everything unfolds slowly and nobody has all the information at once.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That is really cool. I didn't even really think about that because I did feel like the first, maybe even half of the movie, like everything kind of leading up to Thomas, or, Nicholas Hoult. That's his name, right?
Nicholas Hoult.
So him getting to the castle took a really long time.
Yeah.
And I think... But I think that was like really intentional because it's slower. It's not as entertaining as like the journey across the sea where Orlok is killing sailors, and like that's more entertaining, like high like adrenaline entertainment. But I think that to your point, he's establishing like, look how freaking long this takes,
right?
And so it is like it plays an important role to say like it took him so long to get there.
Yeah.
And then when he left, it's not a Game of Thrones season 7 where she just like
where
appears.
They just hopped in a pickup truck.
Yeah, but it's like he travels a really long time. He comes back grizzled and he's got like a beard and he barely survived, and so I do, and I think that then adds to the intensity of the third act, right? Where it's like you said, they are so far away. They had to come by freaking boat that they have one oar to push. So it's like, they're like it is totally helpless type thing. So that is an element I didn't really think about.
And it sort of plays into like his isolation and feeling like, okay, I think Herr Knock says it's like a 6-week journey.
Oh yeah.
So he's been on the road for 2 months. So when he gets there and it's clear that like, oh, this is the worst place on earth. Yeah. And this guy is very scary, but he's like, I'm in for a penny, I'm in for a pound. Like, does that play into his decision to like make this bargain? Because he's like, I've devoted this much time.
I've come this far.
I can't just get Herr Knock on the phone and be like, listen, this dude's nuts.
Yeah.
He just sucked my blood in front of the fireplace. Can we maybe think about adjusting the deal?
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Nosferatu would be a very different movie if it took place in modern times. Yeah,
totally. It totally would. And like BBC, I think BBC did like a Dracula thing that was set in the modern day. And it was like over 2 parts. And the first part's like in the original time period. And then he like comes to modern England. And I was like, no, I'm out. Like it just seems to make it work in that context, it has to be so much more far-fetched.
Yeah.
Not that a vampire story isn't naturally far-fetched, but yeah, it feels like in this world you could see this stuff happening and people not understanding what's going on.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I recently finished the book Salem's Lot, which is they're both kind of based off of Bram Stoker's Dracula. Same type of character art, like archetypes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I do think like.
Did you say Bram Stoker?
Is it Bam?
It's Bram.
It's Bram?
I thought it was Bram Stoker.
It's like Bam Margera's creepy gothic cousin.
What up, dude? You just got vamped. Okay, so B. Stoker. So Stephen King puts Salem's Lot in basically a time before cell phones, right? Before technology has evolved, where like most of the book is just is people slowly coming to realize that something is wrong.
Yeah.
Where if it was like a modern times, like someone posts a social media things like in the Salem's Lot, Facebook page, and be like, dude, someone's like sucking blood up in here.
Yeah.
And so everyone's like, oh, I'm not going outside, or let's go in during the day and let's just start opening all the hidden places in people's homes and start bashing caskets.
Yeah.
Like it would be a very different thing. So the time period really does serve the story significantly, like where it's
well, and also not just the sort of level of technology and like the logistical aspect, but also in this era where it's like superstition is still mainstream. And there's this, we talked a little bit about this last night, this sort of pull between like the old world and the new world. And Sievers, the doctor, feeling like, this has a scientific explanation. And then I forget Willem Dafoe's actual character name, but he's essentially the Van Helsing character.
It's de France or something de France.
Willem de France?
Maybe. We can just call him Willem Dafoe because it is the most
he is Willem Dafoe.
He just came to that role as himself.
You're like, Willem, just do what you do on a normal night. And he's like, all right, I will read the Ars Goetia.
The demon has already supped on your wife's blood.
On your good wife's blood. This was my main takeaway from the movie the second time through was like, the first time, I don't know, it's because I was feeling like I needed to be respectful to my fellow theater goers, or I was like, expecting it to be more emotionally affecting. But I was like, this is funny, but I can't laugh. I did laugh out loud when he says, I've seen things that would make Sir Isaac Newton crawl into his mother's womb. That I laughed the first time. But this time, I just was tickled by so much of Willem Dafoe's character.
Yeah.
And Brett, who we saw it with, that was sort of his complaint, was he felt like it was a little self-indulgent, it was a little winky.
Yeah.
I kind of disagree, simply, like, it is over the top, and it is funny, but I also feel like that's not a wink as much as it is, like, he's a goofy character, even in world, right? He's a disgraced professor. Even to characters in the world, he's a little bit out there. So
he's a recluse.
Making him kind of this kooky eccentric, I just loved. And I thought I just love Willem Dafoe. He's my favorite part of most movies he's in.
He's great. He's a wonderful actor.
He's great.
Do you know, okay, so along those same lines, I will say, was Aaron Taylor Johnson? So he, and I can't remember who said this last night when we were talking, but they said at times it kind of felt like it was a stage play.
Yeah.
Like where it, and I think like Willem Dafoe kind of, like there were some scenes he was in, it's like, oh, this could very much be like on a stage, like a Broadway stage. And I do feel like Aaron Taylor Johnson, like almost every scene he was in, that's what it felt like. It just kind of felt like a high school play. Yeah. Like he was emotional, but it just, I don't know.
It was like a melodrama.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. Really bad stuff happened to this character, but it still just felt like hollow. Like he's just like, I'm reading my lines now, and here's the emotion that it says to say, like to exude in my line.
Part of it was his accent was just rough. I felt like he was really struggling to do the accent, which I love because you've never seen the Bram Stoker. Well, the B Stoker. You've never seen the Francis Ford Coppola one.
I've never seen Brother Stoker's.
Herr Dr. Stoker. That one I love, but it is famous for Keanu doing a god-awful accent. Yeah. And Winona Ryder doing a really bad accent. Oh. And actually, Gary Oldman has a couple moments where it's like, that's not Romanian. You're just doing something weird. Anyway, so Aaron Taylor Johnson having a bad accent was sort of like chicken soup for my soul. I was like, this is maybe a little spiritual nod. One thing that did occur to me is, in watching this the second time, I totally agree with you. He feels like he's kind of aloof, but I wonder how much of that is intentional, because I kind of feel like he represents what Orlok talks about, like someone who is beyond believing in these traditions, and that makes them vulnerable. Like he's not willing to accept the reality until it's too late, and he almost, to me, represents this Victorian like repression, where it's like
Interesting.
he's so attached to the idea of modernity that he can't like engage with what's happening.
Yeah. There was a lot of I'm trying to remember what line it was, but I think they were having a discussion in the it was like when Willem Dafoe and Sievers and what's it, Holt? No, gosh, what's his character's name?
Nicholas Holt, Hutter.
The Aaron Taylor Johnson's character.
Harding.
Harding.
He had like an English name, Friedrich Harding.
Yeah. So they were all in Willem Dafoe's apartment, and he was saying like, "Oh, it's demons," and he's like, "I don't believe in this. I'm a shipper."
Yeah.
Type thing. So I wonder if like I think that does make sense to have him kind of be the middle ground, where he's not. He's kind of more like represents like the modern interpretations. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like a religious zealot or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so I can see that.
That's interesting if you look at. There's that YouTube channel that does like psychoanalyzes characters, right?
Cinematherapy?
Cinematherapy.
Yeah, I love that.
All the main characters have like a really interesting viewpoint.
Yeah.
Like Ellen I think she represents sort of like the repression, both sexually and also like for the first half of the movie, really the whole movie, everyone's telling her like, you're overreacting. Stop being weird. Right. We feel bad for you, but you need to like let this go. And she the whole time kind of knows the reality. Thomas starts out that way, and then he experiences the supernatural, and then he's kind of on her team. Right. And then I think Sievers and Harding are kind of juxtaposed in their response, because Sievers like comes at it from a very academic perspective, and then is like, okay, no, but I trust this professor, so I've been converted. And Aaron Taylor Johnson is like the opposite. Yeah. The weirder it gets, the more resistant he feels to what's happening. Yeah. Anyway, I got sidetracked minutes and minutes ago, but when we were talking about the setting, what I was going to talk about is this old versus new, and it feels like there's a scene at the castle where Orlok's talking about like, I can't wait to go to this modern world where we've left these old like superstitions behind us. Yeah. And this is where I feel like it departs from Dracula. And remind me, have you read Dracula?
I've read it. I haven't seen any of the movies, but I read it.
Yeah, so it feels like Bram Stoker's resolution is like the West wins, basically. Like Van Helsing, similar to the Defoe character, is an academic, but he kind of figures it out. And the West, meaning the heroic Westerners, use their intellect and their bravery, and they kill Dracula. Right? Yeah. They track him down and they drive a stake through his heart. Yeah. This one feels like very different in its conclusion, in terms of like how they resolve the situation. It feels like the scientific West fails, right? Willem Dafoe even says like, I don't think we can harm him. It has to be
like that stake stuff. That's just not going to work.
It's not going to work. And like we'll let these guys feel like they have control, but really the only thing that can defeat this thing is to like meet it on its own ground, which is the spiritual realm.
Yeah, that is like a really cool take. Yeah. I feel like to kind of reject like the Western thought, like if you just have enough grit, if you're just smart enough, if you push hard enough, if you fight hard enough, if you're violent enough, then you can beat it. Yeah. Right. Like the modern action hero, where it wasn't that way. No. It was, and I'll revisit this in a sec, but it was essentially succumbing to like the whatever is written in, I don't know what you call it, like a prophecy or whatever, like that book that they found that said like, this is the way to beat it, and you just had to go with like what the lore said. Yeah. So.
And it's super interesting too, because it's not her flaw is what kills the monster, and I put flaw in quotes, like what everyone around her views as her psychosis, her belief in this spiritual world, is like what saves the city. Like, and she even says like, all I've ever done my whole life is to like submit to my nature or follow my nature, and that's what ultimately like saves the day. It's very interesting. Yeah, it's very different.
Okay, so before I forget, when my wife was asking, so I've along with my like departing from like more religious thought, like I've also kind of come to more of like a feminist thing where I'm very hyper aware of like the role of women and like in films and stuff. Like there's the Bechdel test, right? There you have to have two women in a scene in a movie, and they don't talk about a man. Yeah. And if you have one scene in a movie where they don't talk about a man, it passes the Bechdel test.
I think that's Bram Stoker's. I think it's B. Stoker. It's Bechdel Stoker.
It's Bechdel Stoker.
Yeah. That's the Bechdel Stoker test. Yeah. Is if a horror movie passes the Bechdel test.
But I don't think this is not on like Robert Eggers or the writers of this movie, because they're essentially was like an homage to an old movie, an old storytelling thing. But one thing that I think was kind of like a bummer is that it almost reinforces this, like that women's like use is to just be used by a man. Like, at the end of the day, that was like her contribution, or like her destiny, like the way that she saved everybody was she just had to be used, like her body had to be used by a man. Yeah. And so anyways, that's not necessarily like again, not like a criticism, because it's basically it's an old story. It's being true to the times, and that's the way that they're thinking. But it's one of those reasons I wouldn't be like, hey, daughter of mine, we should go see this movie, even when she's old enough. It's like, I don't feel like that's, I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. It feels true to the. It doesn't feel like it's well, maybe, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's questioning that worldview. It feels like it's being authentic to the story as it was written or as it was told by Murnau. Right. Which feels a little like, oh yeah, it's kind of yucky. Yeah. And certainly she gets to be the hero. Certainly she has power, but it does feel like her power is reduced to
to just like be a body,
to her blood, right? Yeah. That's interesting.
Anyway, just a thought I had out there was the what's the thing that you do when you virtue signaling?
Yeah.
I'm just like, hey, you know what I had a problem with?
Yeah. No, that's an interesting thought. It is, and it does make you. It's frustrating because you do see her. Because the story is unambiguous, right? We know that what she's experienced is real very early on. Right. So when she tells Thomas not to go and he goes, you're like, you're an idiot. Yeah. And it part of what's funny is, I don't know that this is intentional or it's just like a consequence of having like a modern viewpoint. The way they're treating her like hysteria feels like so like out of touch that it becomes comical. Right. Like when he first brings Sievers over and they're talking to her and she's kind of like writhing and moaning on the bed. He's coming. And there's like a beat and then Sievers is like, I'll increase the ether. Oh yeah. Or even Willem Dafoe saying like, she's got too much blood, guys. Like, anyway, so it like by accurately rendering those beliefs to a modern audience, you kind of do invite like, oh yeah, this is a bad idea to treat women like this, to treat anyone like this. Yeah. But yeah, it is. You can see like if you are a feminist, like taken at face value, that's a pretty rough message for a movie to have.
It's not. I mean, I don't think anyone would come away and be like, Nosferatu had a very uplifting message. Right. That is not the case at all. Not at all. And also, you don't want to like bastardize art by saying like, try to bring it into like the way that we view things, especially when you've taken so much time to build like the old world to create that dread and all that stuff we talked about. But it's just if I'm being nitpicky, just like it's like a harsh reminder that there's a lot of time spent where that's really they felt like that was the only value that women could bring to the table. Yeah. Which is it stinks, but
even Willem Dafoe's character, who sort of exalts her for that, it's still like, this is what it is. Yeah. You're not doing this through your wits. It's like your nature. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just like your nature.
And it's your nature Blade. And it's your destiny. And you will redeem us through your body, which is like, oh yeah. Gee.
Okay, so one thing that I always like to look for in movies is like the foreshadowing or the Chekhov's pistol. And I thought about this after we had talked about it. This was something that was kind of interesting. Like towards the beginning, it's like when Thomas, Nicholas Holt's character, who's married, he is trying to soften up Ellen because he has to go on this big journey.
Yeah.
And he brings her the flowers, and she's like, "You killed the flowers. You killed it." And he's like, "Well, no, they're flowers. Just put them in water." She's like, "But you're only prolonging their life for like a day.
Yeah.
Like when really they can't grow anymore. They're dead."
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting to see the final scene of the movie. The flowers are brought back by Willem Dafoe, and he lays the flowers next to her on the bed. And I was like, oh, that's like a really interesting, like kind of foreshadowing thing, because she is the flowers.
Yeah.
Right.
She's doomed, and maybe she already knows that she's doomed.
Yeah. And the whole like, Orlok coming to her apartment saying like, you have 3 days was essentially the same thing. It's like, the flowers are going to die. They've already been cut. Mm-hmm. So putting things in water is just going to prolong things for, like, it's going to prolong the inevitable, which I thought was like, I'm not sure if that was intentional. I feel like it probably was, because they made sure to show the flowers like being laid down, and then like the last shot is like the overhead shot where you see kind of everything. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that was like a really subtle detail that I thought was like, that gave me pause and made me think back, like, oh,
that's really cool.
Early on, like, they gave the message, like, this is it.
It sort of plays into like the bridal motif, right? Like, because when Orlok finally comes to her, she puts on the wedding veil. Oh yeah. So bringing the bouquet of flowers back in. That was one of my favorite shots of just the overhead of his creepy,
gross,
shriveled frog butt body that skipped leg day, like draped over her. Yeah. That was one thing that we talked about as well, like making him grotesque, even though they have this like passion. At no point is there any glamour about him. No. He is like a foul thing that's rotten and gross.
Yeah. At no point where people are like, oh man, is it going to be that scene where they finally, will they, won't they? Like, is it that scene? Because you're kind of dreading that. You're like, ugh, icky.
No, like when they kiss, and I was like, can you imagine that that 500-year-old mustache? Yeah. What's in there? Got rat droppings. What does his breath smell like? Yeah. He's got chunks of his body just straight up missing. Yeah. Ugh. He's gross.
Totally. Yeah, dude. So we didn't really talk about Muppets, but it's fine.
Let's maybe as a closing note.
Yes. This is our thing. This is our closing.
This is our sign off. Let's quickly talk about Muppet Nosferatu.
Okay, which I would say I have a list on Letterboxd that is a bunch of movies that I feel like would be better. I use that term loosely. Would be better if it were a Muppet remake. Not saying the movie is bad, but would things be enhanced if it were a Muppet remake? And I do think Nosferatu makes that.
This definitely makes the list. I think it's like any sort of classic story. What are the ones that the Muppets have sort of parodied? Is it just?
So they've done
Muppet Treasure Island,
Christmas Carol, and Treasure Island. Those were like I think they did like a Wizard of Oz one as well.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen it, but the Christmas Carol and Treasure Island, classic stories.
I think
amazing.
Using something that's classic, or even, like what's it called? Like public domain.
Yeah, something in the public domain.
I feel like there's another word. Anyway. Yeah, I feel like that works so well because it's like a familiar story, so you have this almost empty canvas. Yeah. Yeah. So I think Nosferatu Muppets would work fantastically well.
Yeah. Tonally different, but I think it would be super fun. I was trying to think, like, if we were to cast who would the human be, and then like what Muppets would fill which roles.
I think Thomas is human.
I was feeling the same thing. I feel like Thomas has to be the human.
Because I just love Muppets, but what I love about, I just love like Michael Caine as Scrooge. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting because in both of the ones we talked about, the human is the villain. But I think making Thomas is funny because part of the story is his like isolation. So having him like leave the human world and enter like Muppetvania, like to be the literal like only human in the castle is so funny.
Yeah, I think to have him be terrified.
Oh, absolutely.
by Muppets.
Yeah, and I think you'd have to have the Muppets, like Orlok's castle would have to be full of creepy Muppets. It couldn't just be Orlok.
Yeah.
You'd have to have other Muppet encounters in the castle.
The Herr Nacht would have to be. I'm imagining Pepe Le Pew. Just his naked butt lighting all the candles at the same time.
Well, he's got multiple arms too. He can write.
So he can write that.
Candles.
Yeah. I feel so. This is what I think.
Like,
I think Kermit.
I will be your servant, okay?
I think Kermit would be Orlok, and Miss Piggy would be Ellen.
That's a very strong
It
direction.
it like matches the Muppet almost lore type thing.
Yeah, that's great. Especially because you could completely subvert her character because she's like doing kung fu.
Yeah.
The climax of the movie is she just like kicks the crap out of him.
Yeah.
That's really funny. My direction is very different.
Oh, please.
And this is bad for the feminist reading as well. But if we're gonna say Ellen gets shortchanged as a character, let's make her a chicken. And let's make Orlok Gonzo. Just imagine Gonzo asleep and just gets awoken by a hot bird. Like he's been dormant for hundreds of years, and a hot chicken wakes him out of his slumber.
Oh man, okay, so
and just like the mustache, like the otherness of Gonzo.
okay,
I feel like that could work really well.
Okay, I am 100% switching teams because I do feel, as far as like Muppet lore goes, everyone predicts that there's going to be some tension between Kermit and Piggy. That will they, won't they?
Yeah,
but
it's a little subversive.
But as far as just pure lust goes, it has to be Gonzo.
Gonzo is the horniest character. I think we can all agree.
Oh my god!
Like Gonzo. The chicken, and maybe you keep all of Ellen's dialogue exactly the same, but it's just box, and then it's just subtitles. She's like, "You can't love me," and he's like, "You're right. I'm just an appetite."
This needs to happen. Gonzo as Orlok, the Swedish chef as. Just represents all of the Romanian like gypsies and Christians that he's just wearing a different costume.
He's just there to be unintelligible.
Yep.
To enhance. Okay, who's Thomas? Who do we cast? I mean, it's hard not to say Nicholas Hoult would be perfect.
You could. I mean, because he did a really great job. I don't
awesome.
know. I think if we were to pick two humans, because sometimes you get like two humans, I would say Willem Dafoe and Nicholas Hoult would stay where they are, because Willem Dafoe already kind of acts like a Muppet in this one.
That's true. It's true.
I don't know if there's any replacing him, or if you did replace him, it would just be a Muppet, but have Willem Dafoe do the voice. Because I don't know. So I don't know. I feel like Nicholas Hoult did a pretty bang up job. So.
He was great.
And maybe that puts him in a different pantheon. Like it's his shot.
Yeah.
Right. Like Michael Caine, that like only like an actor of his caliber can hit this. Mm-hmm. And so maybe we could give some grace to Nicholas Hoult as someone that's relatively newish.
Yeah.
Like let's put you in this pantheon.
This is it's very honored company to be among.
Yeah.
Be up there with Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
And
Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey. Cool, dude. Well, this was fun.
This was fantastic. I think as a little closing zinger, I want you to pick a favorite line from any movie. What line would be funniest when performed by Count Orlok?
Oh, geez.
Who, by the way, we didn't even touch on this. Bill Skarsgård, phenomenal,
unrecognizable,
nigh unrecognizable, and his voice and his breathing were so cool.
Yeah,
and we're gonna be quoting it forever.
Yeah, quote from the movie.
Okay, this is I'm gonna do a line from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but performed as Count Orlok.
I don't make monkeys. I just train them.
Okay. This is what I'm thinking.
I am bad, and that's good. I will never be good, and that's not bad. There's no one I'd rather be than me.
I think that might have been in the movie. That might have... You've encapsulated his character.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure.